Greetings, comrades. I'm here today to do a review on a book that I just finished. It's a young adult novel, and it is called The Scandalous Sisterhood of Prikwillow Place. And it's by Julie Berry. And it has a great cover here, as you can see. And let's see, on the inside, end papers are nothing special, but there are pictures here, drawn pictures of all the main characters of the Scandalous sisters, if you will, and a nice image on the back as well. And this book takes place in Victorian times. It's about a group of young women. I think they range from age to like 12 to 17, approximately, something like that. There's 7 of them, and they're in this boarding school for girls. And it's not like a formal, I mean, I guess it's considered really a school, but I guess at that time pretty much anyone could open their doors and charge money and say, you know, I'm teaching and, you know, here it is. Not a lot of rules and regulations as far as setting up the school goes, I guess. So anyway, they're all there. They become good friends. None of them are really happy in their home lives. It's nothing too, you know, it's not a... This is not like a dire kind of novel. So, but, you know, they like it better there. They don't particularly like the headmistress and her brother, who comes around fairly often. And as it turns out, and this is not really giving anything away, it's in the blurb and stuff, the headmistress dies. And they decide, one of them in particular decides, and the others kind of go along with it, it can only be called a harebrained scheme, I guess. That they're not going to tell anybody that she died because they're afraid that if they do, well, they know that if they do, then they'll all get sent home or they'll get sent to other schools, and they want to stay together and they really don't want to go back home. None of them do. So, in their youthful innocence, thinking they can pull this off, they decide not to tell anyone that she has died and to keep her death a secret. And one of them is kind of good at mimicking, and they make her up to look like the headmistress, and she does a pretty good job of fooling people too. But of course, you know, this is doomed to failure. There's no way that they're going to get away with this, and you know, everybody who's reading the book is going to know there's no way he's getting away with it. They're the only ones that seem to be under the impression that they can pull this off, which is kind of funny. Towards the end, at the end of the book, there's some a little bit epilogue, not epilogue, but I don't know. And part of the acknowledgments by the author, I believe, she refers to it as a farce at one point and a romp in another. And those are the two words that pretty much came to mind when I was reading it too. It takes place over a very short period of time where they try to pull this off and keep the school together and, you know, pretend that she's still there. And of course, you know, chaos ensues. It's just, they can't. There's no way they're going to do this, right? But it moves along pretty well. It takes place over a short period of time. It's a quick, easy read. It was a lot of fun. I would say it is a farce, but it's a very mild one. It's not over the top. It's not silly. The characters are all very sincere. They have odd names, adjectives that they put before their names, like Scandalous Mary Jane, because she's always flirting with the boys. And each one of them has some kind of little thing like that. And sometimes they use that throughout the book and sometimes not. It's a lot of characters to keep up with because there are 7 and they get a fair amount of time, each one of them. There's one that's more predominant than the others, of course. But it can be a little bit, you know, until you get to know those 7 characters, it can be a little bit hard to know who's who. But, you know, there's that handy photo reference at the beginning, which is nice. It is a farce. It's a very mild one. It's a kind of a sweet one. And a bit of a romp, also very mild in that sense. But it's a really good introduction to those particular styles of writing. Does a good job of portraying the Victorian era and the limitations that are put on women and things like that, and especially women who, you know, really don't necessarily want to just fall in love and get married. There's a bit of romance stuff going on in here. You know, girls will be girls and that kind of thing, I guess. But it's not overpowering. It's certainly not the real focus of the story. So anyway, I'm giving this book 4 stars. I do recommend it. The Scandalous Sisterhood by Julie Berry. It's a young, I believe it's in the young adult section, maybe middle grade, but I think probably more young adult. That's where I would put it anyway. But it was a lot of fun to read. I do recommend it. So give it a try, okay? Bye for now. Happy trails and happy reading.